CEO and chairman, and he was talking about the switch, the speed of the switch between analog banks and digital. To quote him, he said, in 2 to 3 years, just 5% of customers are going to be going into branch. The rest will be online, will be using the digital technology apps. Do you agree with the speed at which this is going to take place? Because for you, it's a third, isn't it, at the moment?
It is. It's about a third. But while I don't necessarily agree with the speed, I do agree that the change is inevitable, and it's sweeping, and it's moving more at the speed of the consumer than it is at the speed of large enterprises like a bank, such as Bank of America. I think the question is, what will people be using banks for, the actual physical presence for? And while it may be only 5% of the transactions or 5% of the people eventually, we expect those interactions to be high value, to be other opportunities for us to deploy our technology.
So you're in charge of 100,000 employees. You've got a budget of $17 billion. I mean, the transition, the focus that you have to give here sounds like it's a mammoth job when you've got so much money to put back at work. What's integral for you at this moment?
Well, we'll run this year, and have for the past several years, a $3 billion new development budget. And so that's roughly $21 billion over 6 or 7 years. So the key is how to deploy it, to your point. I think it's a balancing act between new capabilities, speedy into the market that means something to consumers, and listening to consumers and clients in order to deliver that, but also turning attention to ourselves and using our own technology and capabilities to transform the efficiency of the organization, the foundation in its capability to absorb change, and to ensure we're transforming internally at the same time that we're putting new capability into the market.
And how are you doing that? Because if you're putting money into innovation, that sounds good. We've seen that from a lot of the older businesses, the established businesses already, but whenever I ask the question, how do you take that innovation and that technology and apply it back to your business, I don't really get an answer.
Well, it is a balancing act, and all of the businesses that we run would love to take the full development budget every year and invest it into new capabilities for their clients. So it's a matter, frankly, of sheer organizational will to say, ensuring that the platforms and the foundations are capable and fit for purpose for the future is as important as the next whiz-bang technology we might put forward-facing to clients.
What's the bigger threat to your business? Is it the individual fintech operators here, the FX providers that can go online, for example, or is it one of the big tech companies that are saying, actually, we can disrupt this space? I guess Alibaba is a great example of this. They've kind of proved that there are no boundaries.
Well, I actually think the biggest potential disruptor for financial institutions is cybersecurity. You know, it's been a popular topic here at Davos, but when it comes to fintech and disruption from competitors, there's no question that we have to be very agile and nimble in order to ensure that we evolve in the marketplace in a way that we are serious competitors for those who would try to disrupt our business. The pace of that and the type and the methodology for that changes. There are fintech companies we'll partner with, fintech companies we'll buy from in order to brand capabilities in the marketplace, and then fintech companies that may have the potential to be so disruptive to us, we just have to be quicker, smarter, and better.
You see, I put you then in a position of an investor in one of these tech companies if you're looking at that. And it's a problem for investors today, actually, given the valuations. How do you price innovation? How do you value innovation?
Well, there's only one lens to use, and that's how the customer or the client values innovation. And so there's a lot of innovation in the marketplace that is innovation looking for a problem or an opportunity to solve. At the heart of this is how we deliver focused on clients and customers and ensure that we direct or value, depending on the vernacular, that we direct or value innovation that actually makes a difference to the people whose relationships we're trying to build.
So this is where you have an advantage in that you have access to data, huge access to data, which you can use, a knowledge base to make products applicable to a customer. But I think that's a window of opportunity that you have, particularly with the big tech names, that's narrowing, and it's narrowing incredibly fast.
I still think that we're at the infancy stage of using that data in order to drive our own internal innovation. We've spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to get the house in order so that the foundation works, as we were saying, for the future. The application of data to drive how we bring capabilities to the marketplace and what capabilities we actually do bring, we're infants there. Nothing but opportunity.
How infant are you on blockchain?
Well, blockchain's very intriguing, and for us it's a balance between not wanting to be Neanderthal, but not wanting to put something out in a commercial application where the commercial application is still very unclear. As a technologist, the technology is fascinating, and we have tried to stay on the forefront. I think we have somewhere around 15 patents. Most people would be surprised. A Bank of America with patents in the blockchain or cryptocurrency space. Very important in the intellectual property world to reserve our spot even before we know what the commercial application might be. So very intrigued technologically, but what's the commercial application?
Some blockchain developers are skeptical. They say actually big business don't understand what we're doing. They don't understand the practical applications. And as you say, you're kind of getting in there early. You've got your hands on it, even if you don't understand actually what you have your hands on.
Well, the first definition of a Neanderthal is denial, right? So the whole idea would be not to start from that perspective. I think the only way we'll know the commercial application is to get in there and figure it out.
I wanted to understand how you attract top talent. The banks have been through an incredibly tough period. They've got a really bad name, still I think have a pretty bad name. How do you get fresh graduates, smart tech geeks into the building when it feels like you're updating old technology? It's an old business that needs to get better, as opposed to a startup culture which is vibrant. You're seen or being able to feel like an agent of change.
Well,
how do you
I think there are two keys, right? There are two keys to that. One is we have to build our brand as technology firms. Real technologists have to believe that they can be as innovative and that they can produce change, and that can be as entrepreneurial within a large frame institution. So one is about building brand. I think the second is we have a lot to offer to a technologist. We have a world platform. It's not a simple innovation that would be put into the market. It's an innovation that could touch 30 or 50 million households. It's not a simple application of blockchain. It's a blockchain application that could transform the movement of trillions of dollars of payment. So for most entrepreneurial technologists, the notion of a single idea changing the financial landscape of the world, or a company of our size, is really, really an attractive proposition.
So very quickly, you're excited, not daunted.
I think we have to be excited. Tech talent is the way to win. This code does not write itself. Operating excellence doesn't happen. People produce it, and tech is the ballgame.
Tech is the ballgame. Catherine Besant, the Chief Operations and Technology Officer at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Thank you.
Thank you.